Hey, Warren. I got something I need to ask you.
What is it?
I hear you used to be in a union.
Yeah.
Ugh, I got questions I bet you can answer.
Rob, if these questions have anything to do with those in-house union organizers that sneak around at work, right now is not the place to talk, man.
Okay, what is a good time?
Look, here's my address. Drop by if you like. I'll be back after refereeing the soccer game about 7:30.
7:30 sharp. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Who is it? It's unlocked. Come on in.
Hey, nice place you got here.
You'll do. What's on your mind?
I'll get right to the point. Warren, how do I get my union card back? It's like this. I signed one, but now...
Well, let's see if I got the picture here. Now, one of the organizers bugged you till you signed a card to get him off your back, huh? Then you thought maybe that was a mistake. So you asked the organizer to return it. And the organizer said, no can do. Already on the way to the union headquarters, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, count on snow in July before you get a signed card back, okay? Oh, there's a procedure that's supposed to get it returned. About 2,000 miles of red tape. Letters to write and all that. You got to wise up, Rob. Your signature is a valuable thing. You got to treat it that way. Let me show you something here. See this credit card? It was just sent in the mail. Now, it may not look like it, but it's a contract. But it's worthless until I activate it and sign it. See, our signatures can be worth a lot to other people. Something you don't seem to realize. Debit card charges, checks, loan applications, union cards, they're just paper and plastic till we sign them. What I'm saying is signing a union card or one of those so-called petition unions circulate is like signing a contract. First, your signature helps the union get in. Second, the union wins, negotiates a contract with the company. Now, that contract could turn you into a genuine dues-paying union member. And if the union negotiates checkoff, and you have already signed checkoff authorization, you've agreed to let the company automatically take your dues out of your pay and give that money to the union before you get paid.
Wait, before I get paid? Man, you make it sound like they plan to garnish my wages.
About the same thing. Except with the garnishment, once it's paid off, you start getting your full pay again. With union dues, the payments can go on and on and on until you retire or lose your job or quit or go through some complicated union red tape.
Can they do that?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's really not much money, is it? Still little each month. I probably won't even miss it. I did make him tell me how much I'd be paying before I signed the card.
Well, then you do the math. Assume they gave you an accurate number, okay? Multiply it by 12. That's what you are paid each year. All right? Now, multiply that by the number of years you expect to work till you retire.
Years?
Years.
That can't even be right. Let me do it again.
Nope.
That's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. And that's not counting my assessment and fines they would hit you with. And when you get a raise, of course, the union gets a raise.
Well, Warren, what do they do with all that money?
The union gives a lot to folks it thinks will help its causes. And union bosses and their conventions aren't cheap, you know. Neither is funding more union campaigns, things like that. The union can do pretty much whatever it wants to do with the money it collects from you.
I don't know, maybe it'll be worth it. I mean, after all, unions, they've done some good things. You know, got child labor laws passed, minimum wage, better workplace safety.
Yeah, they did that, yeah. Did it a long time ago, 50, 60 years or so. But today, everybody has those rights, right? Everybody, union and non-union. So tell me, Rob, what have unions done for anybody lately? They certainly haven't protected union members' jobs.
I thought having been in a union and all, you'd probably be for unionization.
Well, think again. Let me show you who you're getting in bed with.
Unions are businesses. They're not charities. They're not financed by the government. A union is a business that sells memberships. Therefore, a union must have dues-paying members to survive. Unions used to represent more than one-third of the workers in private industry. Today, unions represent less than 7%. That's a huge difference, and a huge problem for unions. In fact, the chairman of a union organizing task force told a big union convention, "Our union will gradually die if the number of new members organized is not sufficient to replace the members we lose because of plant closings, downsizing, and other reasons. So usually, unions will do whatever it takes to try and get new members."
Want to see how that union knocking at your door is doing? Take a look.
Still hard to accept that unions are shrinking, especially since they promise so many great things.
Rob, unions are like politicians. They make promises to get your vote. Just about any kind of promise you want to hear. But they don't have to keep them unless those promises are in writing. So unions will not put their promises in writing. Just ask them and then watch them backpedal.
How do you know all this stuff?
Well, I'm ashamed to tell you, man, but at my last job, I was one of those people who believed a union was the answer to everything. So I headed over the local union's office.
Warren, I hear you're not happy with the way things are at work, but you can be. Unionization can solve your problems at work. With the union on your side, wonderful things happen. And if you help us persuade more people to sign up, well, I can't see why you shouldn't wind up being a union shop steward, once the union's running the show, of course. You may not know this, but shop stewards get very special privileges, super seniority, things like that.
I didn't know that.
And another thing, let's keep this under the radar, shall we? No need for management to know a union campaign started. Warren, as soon as they find out, they'll probably try to mislead people, telling them a union's not a good thing. And some people might actually believe them. So let's keep management in the dark as long as we can, okay?
Makes sense.
Now, get as many signatures on these cards as you can. All we really need is 30% to sign, but the more signatures we have, the easier it'll be to show the company we mean business. All right?
What I didn't know was if a union gets enough signatures, the union can use all sorts of pressure, like boycotts and bad publicity, to try to convince your company to accept the union without an election. That's right. No vote at all. And the union can use those signatures and some legal maneuvers to ask the National Labor Relations Board, the NLRB, to order the company to recognize the union without an election. Now, if the union's successful with either of those card tricks, that could mean employees are under the union without even a chance to vote.
So, you kept the whole truth from them?
At first. Not intentionally. But yes. There are rules and laws against some of the stuff I told them. Not like other organizers weren't doing the same thing. And if anyone asked a question and I didn't know the answer, I just made it up.
Man, without a union, you and me, we won't get benefits. But with the union, the union demands, we receive. Now, Donna, I just need 2 more signatures. That's yours and 1 more. Now, if you don't sign, a lot of people might be mad at you.
Really?
Yeah, I know it's late, but it's important. Just promise me you'll sign tomorrow, and I'll stop calling.
The union's gonna know if you did or did not sign. Don't get left out in the cold.
We're having a big party tomorrow night. Now, signing this would be your ticket in.
Party? Sure.
All right. All I'm asking...
Well, read this.
Well, it just says that I hereby authorize the union to be my voice on the job and represent me. It's not like I'm asking you to sign your life away. It's just a card. Kind of like a poll.
Petition the card? It's all the same. When you sign, you turn over some really valuable rights to the union.
But they told me that if I signed, the union could get my supervisor fired. Well, at least transferred, right?
Not a chance. But talking to HR might get things straightened out. Yeah, it's worth a try. But the union doesn't have a thing to say about hiring and firing. Not if there's management rights clauses in the contract. And I can't imagine the company signing a contract without them.
Management rights clauses? What's that?
Here, read this.
Says the company has and will retain the sole right to direct all operations to select, hire, demote, downsize, lay off, and terminate employees, to close any part or all of its operations for business reasons, to make and apply rules and regulations for production, discipline, efficiency, and safety. But none of that was mentioned.
And another thing I bet they didn't mention is, with or without a union, management makes the final decisions about the direction of the business. Period.
So if the union does get in, with or without an election, what happens? Like, what happens the next day?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Yeah, nothing. Nothing changes till a contract's been negotiated.
Well, how long does that take?
It depends. Could take a few weeks, could take a few months, even years. Sometimes they never get a contract because the company and the union can't agree. Now look, Rob, it's this way. Company management doesn't have to agree to anything it thinks might not be good for business. And the union doesn't have to agree to anything it thinks might be bad for the union. So as long as both bargain in good faith, they're done their jobs. But if a union gets in, you can bet that one of the first things negotiated into a contract would be dues checkoff.
There's that term again, dues checkoff. What's that mean?
Let me show you. Let's see, where is it? Here it is.
A system whereby an employer regularly deducts a portion of an employee's wages to pay union dues or initiation fees. It goes on to say, the checkoff system is very attractive to a union since the collection of dues can be costly and time-consuming. It prescribes the manner in which dues are paid by deductions and earnings rather than through individual checks sent directly to the union. Unions are thereby assured of the regular receipt of their dues. Does that mean the company agrees to deduct my union dues from my paycheck?
Up front, before you get paid, what's left?
Why would the company agree to that?
Well, that's a good question. They eventually agree because the union's willing to give them something valuable. Valuable enough to the company to take on the expense of all that extra bookkeeping. See, a union doesn't want the hassle of having to hunt down each employee to collect dues every pay period. But it definitely wants to get its money. Since all a union has to bargain with is stuff we're already getting, they bargain with, let's say, one of your holidays or a benefit or...
They can do that?
Sure they can. You signed. Remember the bargaining process? Well, it's like horse trading or a big gamble. In the end, you may get more than you're getting now or the same, but you could get less.
Really?
Well, it seems you bought the notion that when a union presents its demands about pay, hours, vacations, anything, the company has got to accept. Right there.
Well, yeah.
Dead wrong. Management doesn't have to agree to any union demands. That's what good faith bargaining is all about. If union demands seem like they could hurt the company, not competitive or just not smart, management can just say no, then make its own offer. Both sides can go back and forth, maybe for a long, long time. The union can take the company's final offer to the members for a vote. Now, under some union rules, the union can promote a strike to try to force the company to accept its wish list of demands. And where there's a union, there's always the chance of a strike.
Strike? Nah. I mean, maybe threaten to strike, but scare management a little. I mean, that's all.
A union that doesn't strike is like a tiger with no teeth. Look.
Hundreds of strikes are called each year and involve thousands of workers. A strike is considered the strongest weapon a union has. Its members can be called out on strike over certain issues. A strike can last a few days. However, some last more than a year, and a strike's outcome may or may not be in the striker's favor. In these strikes over money and benefits, strikers can temporarily or permanently be replaced. Furthermore, unless a union has a large strike fund, those on strike may or may not have any income or benefits. But for the union officials who call the strike, it's a different story. Paychecks and benefits continue uninterrupted.
Why am I not surprised?
Now, Rob, it's tough. You get into trouble with the union if you don't support a strike. On the other hand, if you don't show up for work...
I know. I can be replaced, temporarily or permanently. Man, I wish I hadn't signed that union card. Is there something I can do?
Sure. Ask your friends not to sign. And if there's an election, recommend they vote no to the union. You can also form a pro-company group that speaks out. Start a Facebook page online. Tell people to check it out. Word will spread. And legally, there's nothing stopping you.
Man, I don't know how to set up a Facebook page.
Well, you got teenagers at your place, right? They'll know.
I could do that. I could start a Facebook page. Yeah, I think I will. Warren, you know, all I ever wanted out of this was a better supervisor than Harry. Or a job transfer. Harry's way too rigid, man. He doesn't even know what the meaning of respect is. I just wanted to get away from all that.
Yeah.
I screwed up. I should have just kept saying no.
Yep.